Good morning. This is PJ. I'm sitting here in my office, finally, once again, after kind of a long absence. Been away at a continuing education event and then with my mom as we have been walking with her with the death of my dad. Today is our daily lectionary readings. We have our three readings. Psalm 119 is going to be our psalm reading. Jeremiah 36 is going to be our Old Testament reading. 2 Corinthians chapter 7 is our New Testament reading. And this is take 2 because I didn't have enough space on my phone earlier this morning. Here we go. Our readings reflecting on what happened on Sunday. Psalm 119 is the psalm reading. What you say goes, God, and stays as permanent as the heavens. Your truth never goes out of fashion. It's as relevant as the earth when the sun comes up. Your word and truth are dependable as ever. That's what you ordered. You set the earth going. If your revelation hadn't delighted me so, I would have never given up. When the hard times came, I would have given up. But I'll never forget the advice that you gave me. You saved my life with those wise words. Save me. I'm all yours. I look high and low for your words of wisdom. The wicked lie in ambush to destroy me, but I'm only concerned with your plans for me. I see the limits to everything human, but the horizons contain your command. Our Old Testament reading today is from the book of Jeremiah 36. The moment Micaiah, the son of Jeremiah, heard what was being read from the scroll, God's message, he went straight to the palace and to the chambers of the Secretary of State, where all the government officials were holding a meeting. Elishama, the secretary, Delilah, the son of Shemaiah, Elhanan, the son of Akbor, Gemaiah, the son of Shaphan, Zedekiah, the son of Hananiah, and all of the other government officials. Micaiah reported everything he had heard from Baruch, read from the scroll as the officials listened. Immediately they dispatched Jehudi, son of Nethaniah, the son of Samiah, the son of Cushi, to Baruch, ordering him, "Take the scroll that you have read to the people and bring it here." So Baruch went and retrieved the scroll. The officials told him, "Sit down. Read it to us, please." Baruch read it. When they heard it all, they were upset. They talked it over. "We've got to tell the king all of this." They asked Baruch, "Tell us, how did you come to write all this? Was it at Jeremiah's dictation?" Baruch said, "That's right. Every word, right from his own mouth. And I wrote it down, word for word, with pen and ink." The government officials told Baruch, "You need to get out of here. Go into hiding, you and Jeremiah. Don't let anyone know where you are." The officials went into the court to the palace to report to the king, having put the scroll for safekeeping in the office of Elishama, the Secretary of State. The king sent Jehudi to get the scroll. He brought it from the office of Elishama, the secretary. Jehudi then read it to the king and the officials who were in the king's service. It was December. The king was sitting in his winter quarters in front of a charcoal fire. After Jehudi would read 3 or 4 columns, the king would cut them off the scroll with his pocket knife and throw them into the fire. He continued to do this way until the entire scroll had been burned in the fire. Neither the king nor any of the officials showed the slightest twinge of conscience as they listened to the messages read. Elnathan, Delilah, and Gemaiah tried to convince the king not to burn the scroll, but he brushed them off. He just plowed ahead and ordered Prince Jehomah, Sariah, son of Azrael, and Shalamah, the son of Abdul, to arrest Jeremiah the prophet and his secretary Baruch. But God had hidden them away. And I apologize for butchering those names. Our New Testament reading today comes from the 2 Corinthians book, chapter 7, verses 2 through 16. And I'm going to take a sip of coffee from glass. It's been a while since I've been to glass, too. Here we go, from 2 Corinthians chapter 7. Trust me, we've never hurt a soul, never exploited or taken advantage of anyone. Don't think I'm finding fault with you. I told you earlier that I'm with you all the way, no matter what. I have, in fact, the greatest confidence in you. If only you knew how proud I am of you. I am overwhelmed with joy, despite all the troubles. When we arrived in Macedonia, Providence, we couldn't settle down. The fights in the church and the fears in our hearts kept us on pins and needles. We couldn't relax because we didn't know how it would turn out. Then the God who lifts up the downcast lifted our heads and our hearts with the arrival of Titus. We were glad just to see him, but the true reassurance came in what he told us about you. How much you cared, how much you grieved, how concerned you were for me. I went from worry to tranquility in no time. I know I distressed with greatly my letter. Although I felt awful at the time, I don't feel all that bad now that I see how it turned out. The letter upset you, but only for a while. Now I'm glad. Now, not that you were upset, but that you were jarred into turning things around. You let the distress bring you to God, not to derive you from Him. The result was all gain, no loss. Distress that drives us to God does that. It turns us around. It gets us back to the way of salvation. We never regret that kind of pain. But those who let distress drive them away from God are full of regrets and end up on a deathbed of regrets. And now, isn't it wonderful? All the ways in which the distress has goaded you closer to God. You're more alive, more concerned, more sensitive, more reverent, more human, more passionate, more responsible. Looked at from any angle, you come out with a purity of heart. And that is what I was hoping for in the first place when I wrote the letter. My primary concern was not for the one who did the wrong, or even the one wronged, but for you, that you would realize and act upon the deep ties between us before God. And that's what happened, and we felt just great. And then, when we saw how Titus felt, his exuberance over your response, our joy doubled. It was wonderful to see how revived and refreshed he was by everything that you did. If I went out on a limb and telling Titus how great I thought you were, you didn't cut off that limb. As it turned out, I hadn't exaggerated one bit. Titus saw him for himself. Everything that I had said about you was true. He can't quit talking about it, going over and over and over again, the story of your prompt obedience and the dignity and sensitivity to your hospitality. He was quite overwhelmed by it all, and I couldn't be more pleased. I'm so confident and proud of you. And here ends our readings for the day. And talking about that, I cannot tell you how much I appreciated all of the letters and messages that I received in my time as I mourned the death of my dad. Thank you so much. Much love and much appreciation. Peace be with you, and see you soon.